So I'm going to give you a list of the best performing exchange traded funds that you can buy right now that are available to Australian investors. So this video is going to be in two main sections. So the first, I'm going to show you 3 exchange traded funds that have performed the best over the last 12 months and over the long term. Now, these are quite specialized exchange traded funds, but because they've performed the best, have given the highest returns over the last 12 months and longer, I've included them in this video. But I'm also going to go into 3 exchange traded funds that are more mainstream. So the next 3 exchange traded funds will be ones people are more familiar with. They'll be index ETFs. Index ETFs that follow an index fund are the most popular type of exchange traded fund, especially for beginners and people just looking for something simple to invest in. So 3 super high performing exchange traded funds and 3 index funds that are much more popular and probably likely to be more attractive to beginner investors. And since I'll be talking about specific funds, it's good to note that past performance isn't always an indication of future performance. Always make sure you do your own research and due diligence before investing into anything. Let's go. So let's look at the best performing exchange traded funds of 2021. So these are the exchange traded funds that have done the best this year, the most highest performing exchange traded funds. But not only over the last 12 months, they've also been doing well over the last 5 years as well. I mean, it has been a good year for most companies, so it makes sense that exchange traded funds will also be doing well right now. I don't invest in anything that's too new or hasn't been around a long time because I like to have a lot of financial data to look at. Plus, there was a few exchange traded funds on this list that had really high fees, so I've discounted them, a few of them, because of that reason. So from this list, if you are looking for an exchange traded fund based on performance only that's likely to also be pretty good in the future, these are the 3 that I think you should be looking at. So this information is from finder.com.au under best ETFs. It was last updated just a few days ago by writer Kylie Purcell. And what they've done is look at the best performing ETFs over 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. So I'll leave a link to this website so you can go and have a look at it yourself. You can see that some of these have returned really huge returns over the last 1, 3, and 5 years. But from this list, I've looked at the ones that have done the best over 5, 3, and 1 year. There's actually some really good exchange traded funds on this list that you might even consider looking at. I think the ones that I like the best, I like GGUS. It's done well over 5, 3, and 1 year. I like NDQ, BetaShares, the NASDAQ, mostly because it's very consistent 1, 3, and 5 year returns. So I think that one is another good one. And the third one that I like, I think I've talked about this one before, is the BetaShares Global Cybersecurity ETF. We have 1 year return of 44.3%. We have a 3 year return of 22% per annum and a 5 year return of 23% per annum. So over the long term, they've done really well. And even in the last 1 year, done exceptionally well. And those are the 3 that I think are the best from this list of high performing ETFs. But as you know, most people aren't going to go for specialized exchange traded funds, but I did want to show you the most high performing ones. So let's look at much more popular index ETFs. So most beginners or most people starting out with exchange traded funds will go for an index ETF. Most people perceive these as either easier or safer, but mostly because they're much more easier to understand. It's much easier to get your head around investing in, say, the top 300 stocks on the stock exchange rather than something that only invests in a metal that you may not have ever heard of. So let's look at the best performing index ETFs in Australia right now. We've got VAS, which is the most popular ETF in Australia, IOZ, and STW. So VAS, which is Vanguard's Australian Share Index Fund, which follows the ASX 300. Their returns over the past, if we look at market returns under risk measurements and performance, 28.6% over the last year. But over the long term, 2 and 3 years, they're averaging over 10% per annum. If we go to IOZ, which is iShares ASX 200, we can see that over the last 1 year, they've returned 28% per annum, and over 2 and 3 years, a little under what VAS was doing, but 10 and 9% per annum. And of course, the last one, STW, which is State Street's fund, which is the ASX 200. Again, the market returns over 1 year is 27.95%, and over 2 and 3 years, 10 and 9% per annum, which is a great market average. I also want to look at dividend exchange traded funds in the future, and also how to choose an exchange traded fund, like how to research it and how to choose which one that you might want to invest in, whether you're just going to choose one or a portfolio of exchange traded funds in the future. So those will be in future videos. But in the meantime, those are the three best performing exchange traded funds and the best index ETFs in Australia right now. All the best. I hope you found this useful and happy investing. Bye.